I found my childhood friend's name in a hospital register, and she didn't recognize me. It's funny how a single, mundane place can bring back a ghost from your past. For me, that place was a hospital waiting room. I'm Ben, 35 years old, and my world is a neat, predictable grid of deadlines and spreadsheets. My life is a carefully planned journey, a calm sea without a single storm. That's why the hospital felt so wrong. My dad, Mark, who's in his late 60s, had a routine checkup, and I was just waiting for him, scrolling through my phone, trying to make the time go by. I was restless, so I decided to get some water. As I walked past the check-in desk, my eyes fell on a clipboard. It was a simple, plastic clipboard with a list of names. A list of patients, a boring, mundane list of people who were all here for some reason or another. I didn't mean to look, but my eyes just stopped. I saw the name, and my heart did a strange little skip. I felt a chill run down my spine. The name was so familiar, so personal, it felt like a punch to the gut. Olivia Hayes. Olivia. I hadn't thought about her in 20 years. Not really. She was my first love. My childhood friend. My everything. We were inseparable. We were 8 years old. We lived next door to each other, our two houses connected by a small, wooden fence. We built forts in the backyard, we rode our bikes for miles, we played hide and seek until the streetlights came on. I remember her laugh, a soft, musical sound that always made me smile. I remember her eyes, a warm, kind brown that always made me feel safe. She was my person, my best friend in the whole world. She was 12 when her family moved away. We promised to write, we promised to call, we promised to be friends forever. But life happens. Our calls became less frequent. Our letters became fewer, and eventually, we just stopped. We lost touch. The memories faded, the promises broken, a beautiful part of my life, gone. I stood there, the clipboard in my hands, a ghost from my past. It had her name on it. Her full name. It had to be her. I couldn't be sure, but a strange, undeniable feeling told me it was. I had to know. I had to see her. I felt a sudden, profound urgency. I walked up to the nurse, a kind woman in her 40s with a tired smile. "Excuse me," I said, my voice shaky. I think this is my friend. Can I see her?" The nurse looked at me, a little confused. She said she couldn't give me any information. I tried to explain. I told her we were childhood friends. I told her we lived next door to each other. I told her we lost touch, and that seeing her name on this list was a small miracle. She just looked at me, a little wary. She said she couldn't help me. I went back to the waiting room, my heart pounding in my chest. My dad came out a few minutes later, his appointment over. He saw the look on my face and asked me what was wrong. I told him about Olivia. He remembered her. He remembered her laugh, her kind eyes. He remembered how much we loved each other. He told me to go back and try again. He told me that sometimes, you have to fight for the people who matter. I went back to the front desk. I saw a different nurse, a younger woman in her 20s. I took a deep breath. "I'm sorry to bother you," I said, my voice a little firmer this time. "My best friend from childhood, Olivia Hayes, is here. I saw her name on a list. I haven't seen her in 20 years. It would mean the world to me to just say hello." The nurse looked at me, a soft, gentle look in her eyes. She must have seen the desperation on my face. She looked up her name, then looked at me. "She's in room 312, she said quietly. "You can go see her." My heart soared. I felt a wave of profound gratitude. I walked down the hall, my feet a little shaky. I was about to see her. After 20 years, the memories flooded back. Her face, her laugh, her eyes. The promises we made. I was so excited. I was about to find my person. I was about to have a piece of my childhood back. I knocked on the door of room 312. A voice, a soft, familiar voice, told me to come in. I opened the door, and there she was. She was sitting in a bed, a small, frail woman. She had the same kind eyes, the same soft, tired smile. But she was different. Her hair was a little grayer, and she looked a little older, a little more fragile. But it was her. It was my Olivia. My heart was pounding, my eyes a little misty. I smiled, a genuine, happy, loving smile. "Olivia," I said, my voice full of emotion. "It's me, Ben." She looked at me, her face a blank canvas. She just stared at me. No recognition, no spark of a memory. Her face was full of a polite, gentle confusion. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice a soft whisper. I don't know you." My heart stopped. I felt a wave of profound sadness wash over me. She didn't remember me. I felt like a stranger in a strange land. My beautiful, perfect reunion was a lie. "It's me," I said, my voice a little desperate. "Ben, we were kids. We lived next door to each other. We built forts. We rode our bikes. We were best friends." She just looked at me, her eyes a little sad. "I'm sorry," she said again. "I just don't remember." I saw a woman sitting next to her, a woman who looked a lot like her. It was her sister, Sarah, who was 35. Sarah had a warm, gentle smile. She looked at me, her eyes full of sympathy. "I'm sorry," she said. "She has Alzheimer's. She's been sick for a few years now. She doesn't remember a lot of things. She doesn't remember a lot of people." My heart broke. I felt a wave of profound, crushing sadness. The girl I had loved, the girl I had been looking for, the girl I had hoped to find, was gone. She was still here, in her body, but the part of her that was me, the part of her that was my best friend, was gone. I just stood there, speechless. I had so many things I wanted to say, so many memories I wanted to share, so many promises I wanted to make, but there was nothing, there was no one to say it to. I looked at Olivia, her face now full of a quiet, gentle confusion. She just smiled, a small, kind smile. It was the same smile I remembered, the same smile that made me feel safe. It was the only part of her that I recognized. I went back to the waiting room, a little lost, a little heartbroken. I had found her, but I had lost her all over again. The hospital was no longer a place of quiet contemplation. It was a place of profound sadness, a place of grief. I was grieving for a person who was still alive. It was a strange, complicated feeling. I went back to my dad, my eyes a little misty. He just looked at me, his face full of understanding. He had seen the truth in my eyes. He had seen the sadness. I went back to see Olivia every day for a week. I brought her flowers. I brought her a small gift, a little stuffed animal, a small, quiet symbol of our childhood. I didn't talk much. I just sat there. I just watched her. I just looked at her, and I remembered. I remembered the girl she was. I remembered the friend she was. I remembered the person she was. I would tell her stories about our childhood. About the time we built a fort so big we couldn't get out. About the time we rode our bikes all the way to the lake and back. About the time we got into a big fight over a book and didn't talk for a day. She would just listen, a small, polite smile on her face. She didn't remember, but I did, and in a strange way, it didn't matter. The stories weren't for her. They were for me. They were a way for me to say goodbye to the past. A way for me to say goodbye to a piece of myself. I finally realized that our relationship wasn't about her remembering me. It was about me remembering her. It was about me remembering the person she was, the person I was, the person we were together. One day, I went to the hospital, and she wasn't there. Her sister, Sarah, was there. She told me that Olivia had passed away in her sleep. She said it was peaceful. She was gone. She was really gone now. My heart broke a third time. I had found her. I had lost her. And now, I had lost her all over again. I felt a wave of profound sadness, but this time, it was a little different. It was a little more peaceful. A little more understanding. I had a chance to say goodbye. I had a chance to remember. I had a chance to tell her a story about a friendship that never died, a story about a love that never left. The hospital is no longer just a building. It's a place of memory. A place of love. A place of loss. It's a place that will always remind me of the girl who was my everything. The girl I had lost, and the girl I had found again. I didn't get to have the reunion I had always dreamed of. But I got something else. I got something better. I got a chance to say goodbye. And I got a chance to remember. And that, in a world that is so full of forgetting, is the most beautiful thing of all. I'm no longer lost. I'm no longer searching. I'm no longer waiting for a ghost from my past. I have a story now. A story about a tender reunion. A story about a love that never left. A story about a friend who was always there, even when I had forgotten her. Even when she had forgotten me.